Before I leave the topic of the House, can you just explain to me what came out of that committee? There was, of course, that resolution from Congresswoman Miggs.
Yes, the resolution is based on 3 grounds.
Okay.
First, they said that SMNI practice intentional giving false information, meaning fake news.
Okay.
Second, we give some of our shares of stocks of SMNI Corporation, the Suarasug Corporation, to another person without giving consent to Congress, and that is in violation of the franchise. And third, we failed to give public offering up to 30% to our shares to the public. So I have to answer that one by one.
Okay, go ahead.
Second, with respect to the giving false information.
Okay.
That is absolutely wrong.
Okay.
We are here to share what is true, what is the reality. We are not giving any fake news here, but actually we give what is the truthfulness of any news.
Now,
but granting that is there is certain irregularity or there's certain errors in our news. Granting, still that is covered by the freedom of press and freedom of expression guaranteed by the Philippine Constitution.
Before we leave that first ground, I think the criticism of people against SMNI, particularly that show of Ka Eric, is about red tagging.
Yeah.
Right? Do you think there's some legitimacy there, or is it the right of the host to express opinion? What do you think?
There is no legal principle about red tagging under Philippine law.
Okay.
So there is that red tagging principle.
So what about defamation? I mean,
there is a defamation. Of course, freedom of press and freedom of expression is not absolute.
Okay.
There are certain limitations. But if you talk about topics that involves public interest, if you want to criticize public officials, that is part of the freedom of press, freedom of expression in the exercise of their function as a public official. That's why there is a jurisprudence in the Philippine Supreme Court that says that public officials should not be onion skin.
Okay.
They expect to be subject to public criticism and public ridicule.
Well, yeah, they're not supposed to be onion skinned, but that's precisely what we're seeing now. Or maybe you can say that it's not being onion skinned, but maybe one viewpoint could be that there is a political agenda in motion, right, against unfortunately has drawn in SMNI. But can you go to the second point, the second ground?
The second ground, they said that we transfer shares of stocks of Suarasug Media Corporation of SMNI to another person. That is not correct. Because certain shares of Suarasug Media Corporation is under the Kingdom of Jesus Christ.
The religious organization of Pastor Apollo Kibuloy.
Used to be headed by Pastor Apollo Kibuloy. Because that Kingdom of Jesus Christ is a corporation soul. That is not a regular corporation. When we say corporation soul, it is a corporation, one-person corporation. Like a one-person corporation headed by one person. It's like the Archbishop of Manila, Archbishop of Iloilo, the Kingdom of Jesus Christ. That organization is a corporation soul. So they show us a certain document that the Kingdom of Jesus Christ leadership was transferred from Pastor Apollo Kibuloy to Brother Marlon Jacobo. So, according to the congressman, that there's transfer of shares because there's transfer of leadership from Pastor Apollo Kibuloy to Brother Jacobo. That is absolutely wrong. There is no transfer. There was no transfer of shares. There was only change of leadership. Change of leadership is different. Change of leadership is different from transfer of ownership. There was no transfer of ownership because Kingdom of Jesus Christ, headed by Pastor Apollo Kibuloy before, is the same Kingdom of Jesus Christ headed by Brother Marlon Jacobo.
I've heard you make this argument on other networks before.
Yes, because the leader is like a trustee.
Yes.
He is not the owner of Kingdom of Jesus Christ or the properties of Kingdom of Jesus Christ. They are trustee. Meaning, in Tagalog, pinagkatiwala lang ni Pastor Kibuloy or ni Brother Jacobo yung properties of Kingdom of Jesus Christ.
But for those who don't know, can you explain to us the structure? Because for those, again, who are not familiar with the law, Does the Kingdom of Jesus Christ exist as a separate corporate entity, or is it a corporation sole? Or,
It's a corporation soul.
okay, and then the Suarasug, which owns SMNI, is a for-profit entity?
No.
Or is it one entity?
Suarasug Media Corporation. They said Suarasug, we're operating Suarasug, but our corporation is SMNI. They said that we borrowed the franchise of Suarasug. That is not correct.
Okay.
SMNI,
Clarify it for us. Yeah.
SMNI is a what they call trademark, trade name of Suarasug.
So what is the corporation entity?
Suarasug Media Corporation.
Okay.
But we're doing business under SMNI.
I see.
SMNI is a trade name of Suarasug Media Corporation.
And what is Suarasug's Media Corp's relationship with the Kingdom of Jesus Christ, which is how is it organized? Is it
The kingdom, the Suarasug Media Corporation, there are certain share owned by the Kingdom of Jesus Christ.
Okay.
The executive pastor of the Kingdom
controlling
of Jesus Christ.
share, super majority?
Not super majority. I think
Okay.
mga 40% shares.
Okay.
So that is the head before was Pastor Apollo Sikibuloy.
Okay.
But now the head of Kingdom of Jesus Christ, meaning the leader
church,
now. Of course, the founder is Pastor Apollo Sikibuloy.
Of course, yeah.
But the leader now is Brother Marlon Jacobo.
Right.
So they said that there was change of ownership from Pastor Apollo Sikibuloy to Brother Marlon Jacobo. That is not correct. Because they are just the trustee of Kingdom of Jesus Christ. They are not the owner of the properties of Kingdom of Jesus Christ. And
So
that is different.
What was transferred, allegedly transferred,
Shares of
as-
stocks. They said shares of stocks.
from what company to or from
No,
what
no.
entity to what entity?
Kingdom of Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Transferred the shares of Pastor Apollo Kibuloy transferred
to
to
the-
Marlon Jacobo. That is not correct.
Okay.
Because
I
Marlon Jacobo,
understand.
Brother Marlon Jacobo and Pastor Apollo Sikibuloy, they are the trustee of
Yeah.
the properties of Kingdom
Yeah.
of Jesus Christ.
So you're saying that 40% or so is owned by the Kingdom of Jesus Christ, and what only changed is I suppose, the leader of that church, right?
Yes.
Right. So the owner is still the Kingdom of Jesus Christ.
Yes, the Kingdom
I
of Jesus
understand.
Christ. Oh.
So who are the other owners? Who are the owners of the 60%?
I forgot. There are many persons involved there.
Okay.
So there's also what we cooperatives.
Okay.
So there are also individuals.
I suppose all associated or somehow linked
Yes,
to,
yes.
to the Kingdom of Jesus Christ. But what of their allegation now that the shares of Suarasug should be publicly floated or publicly traded now?
We are on the process of doing it. So, in fact, the law requires under the franchise of SMNI, 30% shares should be given to public offering.
Mm-hmm.
We are on the process of doing it. In fact, 1% plus was already owned by a cooperative of the workers of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ. That's another cooperative.
Okay.
So, the law, if you read the franchise law, it never mentioned that it should be given within 1 year or within 2 years or within 5 years.
I was going to ask that. Is there a timetable that
There was no timetable.
is stated in law?
There was no timetable, but we are on the process of complying with that requirement of the 30%.
Okay.
So in fact, there is a presumption of good faith on the part of SMNI.
Okay.
So they said that we are in bad faith, we violate the law. If that is their allegation, prove it in a proper forum, because we believe that SMNI is in good faith. We complied it. We are on the process of complying the public offering requirement of SMNI.
But if Congress throws it back at you and says, okay, why don't you prove that there was, this process? Is what
I
can
prove it.
What can be shared with Congress
First,
to back up that statement that you were in the process of?
First, the 1% plus was already given to the cooperative.
Okay.
To the cooperative. Then after that, we are on the process of completing the 30%.
Okay.
But now, out of the 30%, 1% plus was already transferred to the workers' cooperative.
Okay, but I think just to clarify for people who are not familiar here, are you saying that you were in the process of making Suarasug a public corporation or a publicly traded corporation? Because they're two different things,
Yes.
right? So you could be public but not traded.
Yes.
Right? But you could be public but traded, right?
According to the franchise law, it requires only the 30% public offering, meaning it should be given to the public the 30%, offered to the public the 30%.
So it doesn't say listing.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Yes. So that is the 30% requirement, and we are on the process of complying that 30%.
But are there notes of meetings that we can show to
We can present
Congress that, okay, this was our discussion
We already
and the
informed
original timetable?
We already informed Congress through a letter that certain percentage was already given to a cooperative, and we are in compliance with that requirement.
Okay. Now, the third ground.
So that is the third ground. So first ground is they said intentional fake news.
Okay.
Second ground is transfer of share without the consent of Congress. And third ground is the violation of the requirement of public offering.
And you mentioned that there was a bill filed.
There was a bill filed.
So you're expecting more hearings in the House.
Yes.
Have you had a chance to review it? What is the grounds for seeking
the same ground about alleged violation of the franchise. So they want to amend the law. If they can do that, they need a confirmation from the House of Senate, because the Congress of the Philippine Constitution is not only about House of Representative but also includes the House of Senate.
From the upper chamber. So, what would be the procedure there? Because obviously it will have to go through committee and several readings. Then finally the plenary, right?
Yes. After that, submit that to the Senate.
I suppose there will be public hearings as well.
Yes, like that. So it will take time. But we are, the legal team of SMNI, we are ready and prepared to defend SMNI, because our fight is not only about SMNI. Our advocacy is not only to protect SMNI, but to protect the freedom of press and freedom of expression guaranteed under the Philippine Constitution. Because if you read the jurisprudence of the Philippine Supreme Court, the freedom of press and freedom of expression is one of the highly protected, highest constitutional right. In fact, if there is a law or there is a resolution or order of any government agency that affects freedom of press and freedom of expression, they are presumed unconstitutional. So therefore, government agencies should present evidence that is constitutional. If they cannot present evidence, the presumption will prevail. And the presumption is that the order of NTC is unconstitutional. The order of MTRCB is also unconstitutional.
Now, I asked Attorney Roque this when we had him over for the show last week. And I was suggesting that this is not really about SMNI.
Yes.
That that this may be really about politics, and that SMNI is merely collateral damage. What's your view on that?
We are talking here, this is partly politics. So I'm not talking...
Partly or largely politics?
Partly politics, because our fight is not only partly politics, partly legal. But in reality, if you ask the Filipino people, this is largely politics.
Okay.
So largely politics, and it all started when Eric questioned the 1.8 billion peso travel fund of the office of the speaker. That is the history. That is the start of the fight of SMNI.
Do you think that was a start, or that was merely just the reason for looking into it?
But behind that is politics. Behind that is politics. Maybe the issue for the 2028 presidential election. So it's too early to preempt. But based on my personal opinion, this fight of SMNI is about the 2028 presidential election.